If there is someone listening now and they want to maybe orientate their drive to the fulfilling pursuits that you talk about, but also they want to build their confidence, what advice would you give them?
Act first. You have to lead with action.
Ladies, gentlemen, letter friends, welcome back to PartWolf Podcast. That was a question from Stephen Bartlett of Diary of a CEO. He was interviewing Chris Williamson of the Modern Wisdom Podcast, and a lot of his answer actually lined up with some of the points I made in one of my last videos. Enough chit chat. I'll let you see for yourself.
Act first. You have to lead with action. If you are someone that deals with a crippling sense of insufficiency, your ability to discount any good thoughts you have in your mind is going to be so strong. If you try and lead with positivity first, your set point of negativity is going to just crush that into the ground. I'm speaking from personal experience, right? As the guy that was chronically unconfident and still has, the imposter syndrome that does creep in. It needs to be, okay, what would have had to have happened in a week's time for me to look back on that week and find pride in myself?
That makes it easier to listen to the part of myself that I like. I mean, doing stuff that makes you proud of yourself makes you want to do more things that will make you proud of yourself. And
pride's seen as something that you should be ashamed of. It's one of the 7 deadly sins. But David Goggins, he said, pride is something that everybody misses. That having pride in your name, your performance, the way that you show up for other people is something that you can do. But you need to do something that is worthy of being prideful about, right? What would have had to have happened in a week for you to look back on that week with pride?
I would have a moment where I would do something and I'd be like, man, I'm glad I did that. Like, I'm proud of myself for doing that. You make choices that reflect who you want to be, and it makes you feel good about yourself, right? That sounds fucking cliche and like a no-brainer. It's just, I don't know, do it more. Say it out loud. Fucking say it out loud right here. I'm gonna just right there. Say it.
Okay, maybe stop breaking promises to yourself. When you say, I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 7 a.m., and when the option comes to hit the snooze button, don't do it. There's one win that you've got for the day. That's action, right? And it is just, it's tried to say the Peterson clean your room thing, but the reason that works is that you start with the smallest ever step and you expand out from that. You want to become a writer. You want to leave your job and become a writer. Okay, can you commit to writing 1 blog post on Substack per week for the next 3 weeks? That would make you feel like less of a loser if you did that. Action has to come first if you're the sort of person who is chronically unconfident, because you will drag your sense of identity behind you. Start with action and make small promises to yourself that you don't break.
Essentially, what I did was, I would just do small things, throughout the days and weeks to just make myself feel better about myself. Not like pat on the back or like, hey, look at me, I did some shit. But like, you just do something and then you go like, okay, like you did that. Like, so like you're capable of like doing good shit. So like, just keep doing good shit. And I don't know, like sometimes you have to fucking remind yourself, and that's okay. Whatever gets you there, right?
If you had a friend and every single time that you and your friend decided that you were going to go out for dinner, that friend either showed up 2 hours late or didn't show up at all, you would stop trusting that person. That is the relationship that you have with yourself. You need to be able to trust your own word. And a lot of us don't, because life is very convenient and it is easy for people to not stick to the promises that they set themselves, because our ability to be idealistic is always going to outstrip reality's ability to deliver that to us. As soon as you posit an ideal, you then begin to compare yourself to that ideal. And true hell is when the person that you are meets the person that you could have been.
If you can't match your ideal you, then you're doomed. Man. So where do we start? I'll tell you where. We start small. What is your small win? Is it journaling, waking up early, meditation, cleanliness, maybe exercise, or just daily walks? One of my first small wins was donuts. I went from trying to basically just put an hour between each one I ate to then 2 hours, and then maybe eat only half a donut, and then 2 hours later eat the other half. Doing that more and more, it just became easier to just choose not to eat sugar. And then when I ate sugar, it was out of choice and not out of habit or compulsion. Another one was running. I do cardio. I don't need to run for cardio. I did the Stairmaster today for 64 minutes. I mean, not full blast the whole time, but I was on that bitch. You feel me? So running for me is more just, I hate it. You know, I do cold plunges too. And the reason I started running was, you know, cold plunges is all about, you know, getting over your mind's, you know, telling you no. Like it's saying not to do it, not to get in. It's cold. You get in, it's like, get out. This is uncomfortable. You know, I was doing that and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start running again. And I started running just because honestly, running is the only thing that makes me feel like a bitch. So I fucking run. I started going to bed earlier and I started waking up earlier. And one of the things that helped with that is since I've been working on this video, the last week, I've actually been sleeping with my phone out here on my desk and using my tablet as my alarm clock. And I build, you know, little things like that up into bigger things. Like about a year ago, I made a rule for myself that I wouldn't drink if I had any negative emotions. If I was upset, if I was angry, if I was lonely, sad, depressed, whatever. And somewhere within the first 6 months, I remember I was really stressed out from work and I drove to Roosters. I got a beer and I got some food to go and I got about halfway through this beer and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling that I got. You know, it wasn't like a drunk feeling. It was just like the feeling of drinking it or like wanting more of it, or I didn't like anything about the experience. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to pay for my food, pay for the beer, you know, whatever, and leave. And since then, I've just made that promise to myself. You know, if you have any of those feelings, just no alcohol. You know, I've even come across situations where, you know, people were, you know, celebrating or saying goodbyes and, you know, they want to drink and I just, you know, I gotta respectfully decline. And I'm sorry, but, you know, hey, and if you didn't know, now you know. And other times where, you know, I'm feeling good, I want to celebrate, and then I find out a friend of mine's having a baby, and I'm like, whew, let's do it, let's drink. What are some of your big wins? What are some things that you see as big accomplishments enough to make you feel proud through the days and through the weeks? Leave them in the comments. Leave them in the comments if it's stuff you're doing, if it's stuff you want to do, stuff you plan on doing, stuff you're acting on now. Let us know. And if you don't want to leave them in the comments, write it down in a journal. Record yourself saying it. Get a voice. I got a voice recorder. I love just being able to just get thoughts out. You know, sometimes I'm like, I'm going to use this voice recorder and like, you know, use it for clips. And then most of the time it's just me just rambling and I'm just getting my thoughts out and it's helping me just unpack my brain and I don't have to pay nobody for it. It's just a little, you know, a little nice little voice recorder I got. So write them down, say them out loud, record yourself saying them, even if you never hear it, even if you never show anyone or you never play it for anyone, just get it out of you and onto some other medium in some way and act on it. If it's, you know, send that text to the friend, upload the resume, you know, apply for the job, do the interview, you know, whatever it is, act on it, start getting it done, take the steps, take the action. You can fucking do it. If you liked the video, leave a like, please subscribe. It don't cost nothing. All you gotta do is that. Just press the screen. Just press the damn screen. Just press the damn. For random quotes and driver seat pep talk, follow me on Snapchat at PartWolf and Instagram at PartWolf Podcast. If you want to check out the interview between Steven and Chris, I'm going to leave it in the link below. And if you would like to see my video that I posted, the full length video is going to be either here or in the description somewhere. You know, just I'm still figuring this shit out, but I'm going to make it available to y'all.